Alright boys, so I just unlocked the Volatile Flow, which is an artifact mod. It is in the last column, and I have to say, this is my favorite artifact mod so far. You have to get this mod. Now what it states, it says, upon picking up a void elemental well, it grants volatile rounds on all your void weapons. Now what volatile rounds does is pretty much what you would expect it to do. When doing damage to an enemy, it makes them volatile and they explode. And this works for all weapons. It can be heavy, special, or a kinetic weapon with osmosis. As long as it's void, you're going to proc volatile rounds. And I gotta say, it is so cool, it's so fun, and it's actually really useful. So let's go ahead and jump into this build. Okay, so for this build, we're gonna use Feed the Void. This is a must-have for this build. And then as your other aspect, you can choose between Child of the Old Gods or Chaos Accelerant. I personally am using Child of the Old Gods because I like it better and I think it's way cooler. But Chaos Accelerant would be just fine because it's going to be a lot of grenades with this build, and Chaos Accelerant will just make them bigger, do more damage. So if you want to use Chaos Accelerant, go right ahead. Although I will say using Chaos Accelerant and Feed the Void will only allow you to have 3 fragment slots as opposed to 4 with Child of the Old Gods and Feed the Void. So just keep that in mind. Now as for my fragments, I am using Echo of Remnants, Echo of Expulsion, Echo of Undermining, and Echo of Persistence. Now as for my weapons, I am using Wither Horde in my kinetic slot, and then I'm also using a Gnawing Hunger with Subsistence and Demolitionist. This weapon is already nasty, and with the volatile rounds, and I'm also using Verity's Brow, so I get extra grenade spam. This weapon just perfects this build. You must use your weapon with Demolitionist. You must use a Void weapon with Demolitionist, because that's the only way Volatile Flow will proc. So get yourself a Void weapon with Demo. If not, just a Void weapon will work. But if you have one with Demo, definitely use it for this build. And I'm also pairing it with a Behringer's Memory because it is a Void grenade launcher. You can also use a Void rocket or Void linear as long as it's Void. I'm also running 100 recovery, 100 strength, and I'm also pairing this with Verity's Brow like I just stated. Verity's Brow did recently get kind of a rework. Now you have to pair it with a weapon that matches your subclass element type. And to compensate for that, they did buff the amount of grenade damage you do when you have Verity's Brow procced. I believe they upped it. I could be wrong. I'm just looking off the top of my memory right now. I believe they increased it to 200% grenade damage, or maybe it's 100%, but I know they buffed it a lot. So definitely use Verity's Brow with this build, actually any grenade build, because you're going to do a lot of damage with your grenades. Especially if you're using Echo of Undermining and Chaos Accelerant, because Chaos Accelerant already overcharges your grenade to do more damage. And then if you have Verity's Brow proc 2 × 5, paired with Echo of Undermining, you're going to nuke enemies with your grenades. Now moving on to my mods, I'm using Seeking Wells, Fonts of Might, Elemental Time Dilation, Volatile Flow. This is the most important mod for this build. Elemental Ordnance, 2 stacks of Bolstering Detonation, and 2 stacks of Perpetuation. Elemental Ordnance will get my whole build going because upon getting a grenade kill, it will spawn a Void Elemental Well, which will track to me because of Seeking Wells, which will then proc Volatile Flow and Fonts of Might, in which Fonts of Might will have an extended duration because of Elemental Time Dilation. Fonts of Might gives your Void weapons a 25% damage buff for however long the duration is. With Elemental Time Dilation and Fonts of Might, it is for like 13 or 14 seconds, something like that. And whenever I do grenade damage, I get Rift Energy in return because of Bolstering Detonation. And whenever I cast my Rift, I get Rift Energy in return because of Perpetuation. This whole build is focused around 2 things: grenade spam and buffing up my weapons. Volatile Flow and Fonts of Might will make my weapons cracked, which will then give me my grenade back because of Demolitionist. And upon getting weapon kills because it's a Void weapon with Verity's Brow, my grenades are going to do more damage and they're going to come back quicker because of also Feed the Void and Demolitionist and Verity's Brow. So it's literally just grenade spam and weapon damage. And who doesn't like that, right? It works in high-end content and it works when you're just messing around some of the low-tier content. So definitely try this build out if you like grenade spam. And Volatile Flow, it is so fun. And actually, I've been using it on a fusion rifle as well. And think of it as Reservoir Burst without the added damage bonus, but with the AoE effect upon getting kills. So it's literally like having Reservoir Burst just all the time on all your shots as opposed to just on the first shot. So it is a very good mod. I highly recommend getting that artifact mod once you unlock it, and you will not regret it. But if you guys like this content, definitely stay tuned for more. Hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos in the future, so stay tuned for that. All right, deuces.